Jump into our ship of Theseus. We got a spelljammer, hail made of grease and rust. Oh, bring all your friends. Adventure begins with us.
So, we're a bunch of numbskulls who didn't actually introduce ourselves at any point.
What?
Who needs to know?
Truly, though.
Why do they need to know?
But just in case you want to know, that's what this little blurb is for. So without further ado,
Hi, thank you everyone. How we
Louder,
doing?
louder.
Oh, please hold your applause, everyone. Please, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh,
You're so
so
kind.
so
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is
Take it
Austyn
off.
Myers. I play Alabaster in this beautiful little space podcast that we do. He's hot and he's a king. That's all that matters. He is an astral elf. I think I described for 5 minutes what he looks like in our first episode.
yes.
So I won't do that again. But statistically, am I playing an astral elf? No. Am I playing... Because Alabaster died and then was brought back to life. So there's a really cool class called the Reborn that you can put on top of another class. Am I playing a Reborn astral elf? Also, no. Why would anyone play an astral elf? They're so lame.
Why would I do such a logical thing?
I am technically, rules-wise, an ASMR. I do not have angel lineage, but I do have Phoenix soul stuff, which brings me to my classes. I am a Phoenix soul sorcerer. We love Unearthed Arcana here. Woot woot. Woot woot. A 1 level of Phoenix soul sorcerer, and the rest, I have 4 levels of Wildfire Druid, which is crazy to be playing a druid in space. You can currently find me in Rogers the Musical at Disney's California Adventure. That's right, we're rocking it out over there. I'm an actor. I own a theater company here in town in San Diego, Living Light Theater. Check us out. Yeah, I think that's mainly me.
My name is Tyler, San Diego resident here. Have been for a good portion of my life. Like many of the people in this room, I am also an actor down here in San Diego. I do not... it's crazy.
Things to say.
Would we have seen you in anything like in the last month that we went and saw?
Oh, well, let's see. I did just do Heather's down here at the Ocean Beach Playhouse. It was a lot of fun. Good. And I got to be a disgusting jock named Ram. And then we're going to be doing Cabaret soon, where I don't have to sing and dance as much, which I'm very relieved about because I am tired. I'm physically exhausted. Being in your 30s playing a high schooler it takes a lot out of you. A couple things about me. Let's see. A huge cat person. I love cats. I'm allergic to dogs, unfortunately, but I do love puppies. Whenever I see a puppy on the street, I have to say hello to it. My favorite color, I have so many of them. Right now it is green, but I cannot wear it because it does not look good on me.
Holy fuck. We're going so in depth.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean, I could say a lot about me.
Tyler, I've known you for a long
Security
time.
number
I didn't
is-
know most of these things about you.
Let's see, what else? I do a lot of voiceover stuff. I do a lot of voice acting stuff and working on that. I also teach as well. And then we have Dale. Let's talk about Dale. Dale Willison is a GIF. For those that do not know what a GIF is a sort of a large humanoid hippo man. Dale, he's at least 7 feet tall, about 7'3". He's about like 420 pounds. Boy,
Nice.
he's a big boy, but he's a little bit older. He's definitely been around the galaxy a couple of times in his like over 50 years of being alive. He's seen a lot of stuff, and I think it's been hinted that he's had affiliations with the Astral Alliance so far. Yeah. So he had some. He has
If it
some.
hasn't been tickled, thank
That's
you for
right,
listening.
'cause
You're
we had the
about to
flashbacks.
get a sneak peek. Yeah.
We had the flashbacks, that's right. Which we'll get into later if you've not heard that yet. But yeah, Dell has some affiliations with the Astral Alliance in some capacity, and then something happened, and now he's just a free, wandering, self-fulfilling, self-employed technician, smuggler, muscle man, and is for some reason going to this. Decided to go to the center of the universe for a maybe wish, a possible wish. Del is a former fighter, but he still has some of his talents from that, but he's not an artificer. He does a lot of tinkering as well. He's getting a little bit older. He can't quite move around as well as he used to due to a replacement leg that he has. But yeah, fighter artificer. He's been known to cook a bit. He has something called deviled eggs that he makes. They're like deviled eggs, but a little bit more of a... He takes a little pin and he pokes the inside of the shell, then he scrambles it while it's in the shell, and then he cooks it with some pickles and pickles and eggs. It's called deviled eggs.
Yeah, but
That actually sounds pretty good.
these are explosive, right?
They can be.
For your
It's
butthole.
like a 1 in 4 chance.
Oh my
for your butt?
God.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It's
They're
like a Russian
explosive
roulette with eggs.
They can be explosive for your digestive tract. Dale has whiskers, much like a hippo does, but a little bit thicker and more of them due to his age, and they kind of look almost like a shorter mustache.
Cute.
Yeah, just because of how thick they are.
I love this old man.
The Pedro Pascal of our
He's,
podcast.
He's experienced but bitter, and he's actually kind of based off of my late grandfather.
Oh, you did say this.
I did, yeah. And catchphrase, like, very loving man, but a catchphrase he always used to say was, "I don't give a rat's ass." And he'd always say that, and whenever we were talking about making a character for this, I was just like, it'd be fun to do that. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that catchphrase will come up a lot. I don't give a rat's ass. Just homage to my old granddad. He has an automaton named Caddy that it could be named after two different things. One, it could be named after the main character from Mean Girls, or it could be named as a reference to a golf club holding device. I will let you decide.
What's your headcanon, listener?
My name is Lindsay Bates. I play Healer. Healer is a level 5 plasmoid monk that is just wreaking havoc throughout space. In my day-to-day life, I do a lot of crazy things. I occasionally scrub into surgery. I also teach kids theater. So I'm a teaching artist like Tyler. Teaching theater, doing theater, occasionally scrubbing into surgery, and instructing people in basic life support. It's just a weird resume. It's a weird resume. But yeah, so I have a lot of responsibility in my day-to-day life, so Healer lets me tap into my actual brain. My ADHD brain, I just let it run free.
Will we be seeing any of these medical practices come out through this medical knowledge come out through Healer?
I mean, sometimes it'll just come out of my mouth, but Healer, maybe.
Maybe.
All right, Sam, what's next? What else we got to tell these fine people?
Well, I guess I'll introduce myself then.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, man. Fuck you.
Who's that
kidding.
How
voice?
dare you?
All right, and the
Who's
least
that Pokey DM?
the least interesting of the bunch, that would be, hi everybody, my name's Sam. I'm the DM of this absolutely crazy cacophony of people sitting at a table with a bunch of pieces of plastic in front of them. Largely, this is a crazy little brain baby that I cooked up and then nerded out with all of the wonderful people around me right now. Also take a quick shout out before I get jumped fully into it to our amazing production team, the outstanding Cody Bray and the wonderful Jay Jolley.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Speech, Cody, speech. Come here to my mic, speech. Come give a few words.
Cody's coming.
I'm left-handed and currently have a mustache.
Both true facts.
And he doesn't usually have a mustache. This is a special
That's true.
fact.
I
And
walked in
brand
today
new.
and I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, who is this?
Newly left-handed.
Dialing it back in, I guess. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say about me? I could tell you about my stat blocks and everything, but we'd be here all day because I am responsible for the rest of the clusternuck that is the world, the NPCs, the overall storyline, the overall locations, and just generally thinking about this game way too damn much. Fun things I usually say, that I am England-born, American-raised, being a generally humongous nerd when it comes to all things Pokemon, Transformers, generally a lot of animes. If you can think of a popular anime, I'm probably into that.
I like long walks on the
video game?
beach and
Like long walks off a short pier. And
dear.
Holy shit.
guys, I like swimming. Where the fuck were you going? You guys don't like swimming at the beach?
Ooh,
Going to the edge of a
man.
dock, dropping off a bag in the water.
It's only bad if you walk off a long pier because then you can't swim back.
Are we sponsored by BetterHelp? Is this what's happening?
What I was going to say is if you're a
Get
fan
help
of anime, I hope you really enjoy this as one of the major inspirations overall for the general layout of the podcast and the adventure is One Piece. And hopefully...
General layout?
General layout.
Oh, jeez.
Captain Mayonnaise.
Captain Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Oh, they don't know about that yet.
Yeah, they'll
Erase
get it later.
Erase it. Peep it out. Peep it out.
Strike it from the record.
But yeah, if you're a fan of One Piece, and hopefully I do this podcast and everybody involves some justice, then I think that you're in for a treat. Following that, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into some facts about the gameplay, the mechanics, and some of the things we're doing.
So, in terms of just general information, we are playing D&D 5e. We started at level 5. And if you're wondering if this is gearing towards home brewing, it definitely happens on occasion. Our DM Sam has what he calls the rule of cool, in which if it's cool enough
Justified.
and
If it's
justified,
cool enough, it's rule enough.
which basically means if our creativity is exciting, he might let us try to accomplish it. In terms of setting, this is all original. Our characters are things and little baby children that we created for ourselves. And we're hoping you still get a dose of the sci-fi in here. I know we're in space, but we'll see what
Thanks,
happens.
Lindsay!
Well, then strike that from the record. This bitch is going to be sci-fi as fuck.
All right, everyone. We're gonna talk
Tell us about
listen.
astral space.
All right, everyone. We're gonna take a sec here, and we're just gonna talk about philosophy. Okay, so. The phlogiston was a thing that was thought of by Socrates and Aristotle, and everyone's eyes are already glazing over in their head, so I need to speed this up a little bit. Okay.
So they say characters sometimes reflect the people.
Hey, all right, everyone stop, I'm not that posh. So,
Even though you said posh in the most posh way possible.
phlogiston is the matter that exists in the astral sea, but their idea of it was that it was this realm of thought, right? And that's what the astral plane is. The astral plane is a fully mental plane. Nothing physical can really be created there. And so the crazy thing about the astral plane is that the astral plane was created to be the lack of substance, right? It is where things go and they no longer exist. And what it was truly created for, what that means is that it is the graveyard of the gods. When a god dies, which is what happens when nobody believes in them or remembers them anymore, their dead body goes to the astral plane because they don't exist anymore. Anytime you use components in a spell, it goes to the astral plane, right? The astral plane is where things go when they no longer exist. And the astral plane is sort of what surrounds the greater cosmology of D&D, like where all the different versions of the afterlife are, because there's not just heaven and hell. There are the 9 hells, which is the lawful evil version of the afterlife, and then there's the Mount Celestia, which is the lawful good version, but there are 16 different astral lives, and what holds all of those together? Astral space, baby. So nothing was technically supposed to exist in astral space, but, you know, then there are high-level archmages who are able to, like, open teleportation networks into the astral space, and now we have entire civilizations that live there. The Githyanki have a whole settlement there, and there are astral elves, and there are Gif, and there are apparently little goo people. You know, so that's what the astral plane is. The astral plane is a place that nothing is supposed to exist in. It was created to be the graveyard of the gods, and now it's our version of D&D space. And because it's a fully mental plane, the main way that people get there is the 9th level spell astral projection, which is like what Doctor Strange does whenever whenever he sends his soul out of his body, he goes into the astral plane, right? When you astral project, you go into the astral plane and you have your silver cord, but there are other ways of getting there. It's just way freaking harder. And that is where we are. We are in the non-existent space between the heavens and the hells, and the nirvanas and the limbos.
Cue Dave Matthews Band.
Bouncing off what Lindsay had mentioned, we are doing a little bit of homebrew.
A little bit, yeah.
Including...
So, what this is, we're using materials from the Dungeon Masters Guild. It's a couple of different references to a couple of different documents and books they released. One of them being called The Spelljammer's Guide to the Galaxy. And this collection of PDFs and books, I think we have about 5 different books here, spanning from different helms you can use for different ships, different modifications you can put into the ships as well, encounters you can have in wild space, different races and classes you can play as, while you're, cruising around the galaxy, and also, everybody's favorite thing, Spelljammer combat.
Oh, yes.
Spelljammer combat, because that's what we all want to do when we think of like a pirate campaign or a space campaign. We think like, well, how is combat gonna work in a 5th edition thing with all the doohickeys?
So imagine your favorite space sci-fi franchise without the ship combat.
Who does what? How do you decide who gets to do what? Are there too many people? Do we not have enough people? Who's the captain? That last one's really easy. You don't necessarily need a captain for the setting. So one of the books, Captain Mayonnaise, but we do have we have Captain Mayonnaise. Hopefully people will understand that reference. But
eventually,
with the way that we're going off these particular documents, there are different responsibilities each person can have on a ship. Such responsibilities as Spelljammer, which is what Alabaster. Yep, my brain stopped for a second. Alabaster would be. We have First Mate. There's a bosun, medical officer, navigator, generic officer, and then just anybody else who's also on the ship to assist in things like loading ballistas or loading stuff and unloading stuff.
Are you technically First Mate, Tyler?
I am the bosun. That's a good thing.
What does a bosun do?
The bosun is... Oh, that's an excellent question. So glad you asked. Bosun takes on the duties of maintaining and operating the ship and its weaponry. The bosun role is usually a good fit for someone with a high strength or dexterity, which Del has a pretty decent amount of strength.
And Del's also a good cook, so he doubles.
Yeah, Del is a good cook as well. For example, if I was the bosun, one thing I could do is I could do emergency repairs, or I could do brace for impact, which allows us to reduce damage by a certain amount. Or I could also change our position, which involves moving the ship a little bit to give us more of a angled speed, or slow us down to give us a sharper turn. Or I can have everybody who's manned a ballista take aim before we fire. So we all fire at once in a big volley. And that's just the bosun. There's so many different things, and we might get to them as we proceed in this campaign.
To wrap it up, as mentioned by everybody, with a little bit of homebrewing and the setting of astral space, we are taking it a step further to put this in combination with some, hopefully not too insane, but just insane enough to keep it interesting, sci-fi concepts. Our campaign is taking place primarily past the event horizon of a black hole. And if you didn't know that before listening to this is a weird place to start. Go back to episode 1.
Do your homework.
Along with this, we are both going to be playing with the rules of astral space. So while, yes, the default rules are the wonderful deep dive that Austyn took us into, such things won't always be in play. One example being our first location, Fourport on the horizon, is going to be in a pocket of normal space. Taking it back to the beginning, though, here's what you need to know. Our setting will primarily be past the event horizon of the black hole at the center of all universes, astral space, existence. This is a super massive black hole that has been there as far as anybody can remember since the beginning of anything, everything. It's had an entire black hole life plus 3 to take in whole universes, worlds, planets, and crystal spheres. Each of those crystal spheres being its own universe, its own places. So all of space and time can be found across the astral sea. There's an incalculable number of universes and dimensions and the like, each in their own little crystal spheres across the astral sea. Some like the Forgotten Realms in many iterations, some like Theros, some like, say, our world. All varying sizes, some smaller, some larger, some with their own versions of space in them, some with their just the heavens and that could direct connect to the gods. Now, the fun stuff.
Damn.
In combination with the black hole at the center of the universe being super massive, and the way the black hole spins, its internal rotation, its external rotation, and the accretion disk, all these having a factor in creating the spatial anomalies we are calling the flutes. Think of each of them as a elongated whirlpool, like when you spin a water bottle very, very fast and the water is trying to get out of the water bottle. The space in the middle where the air is of that whirlpool is our flutes. The flutes being pockets of stable space in between everywhere else you don't want to be, in the main body of the black hole, which in our world is called the no space. Across the black hole, there are thousands upon thousands of these flutes, all bending and shifting, all with different entry points on the exterior of the black hole. Some of them even like separated off inside. They may not necessarily have entrance points. Some of these more stable than others, some larger or smaller than others, and some that go deeper into the black hole or are more shallow or whatever in between. But myth says that one leads to the center, to the very heart of the black hole at the center of the universe. Now, here's where the truly crazy part comes in. Because these flutes have entrances on the very exterior of the black hole, there are slim chances that things falling into the black hole might actually find themselves in a flute instead of just destroyed upon the extreme gravitational forces of the no space and the rest of the black hole. In such extremely unlikely circumstances, some of the crystal spheres or civilizations or ships that fall into the black hole may stay alive and be able to rest or get caught in one of these flutes, and such is how some of our settings are gonna have come to be. Like, say, for example, if a universe like ours, where we have an extended solar system, an extended space around what is our planet, fell into the black hole, well, then you'd end up with pockets of space, pockets of expanse in between planets that then follow the properties more closely to our universe than the spell-jamming timelessness that is the astral sea logic. And thus, that is where our story takes place. Past the event horizon of the black hole at the center of everything, where not even the laws of physics, space, or time are going to be guaranteed for our adventure.
You guys ever just stop and think how crazy this world that Sam created is? It's truly
Yes.
insane.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking.
Billions of years ago.
Yeah.
Billions of years. We might be dead.
The Stephen Hawking long-range launcher. That's crazy.
Yep. In tandem with that, like Lindsay had said, all original settings, original characters, hopefully some original sci-fi as well. Truly got down some rabbit holes, hopefully to y'all's enjoyment. But let us know how we're doing in the comments and by interacting. There's going to be plenty of things on the horizon, including puzzles, D&D fun facts, bonus content as we get into this crazy little adventure. And just from all of us here to all of you, thank you for tuning in. And for all of you that haven't found the puzzle yet, I'm not just writing indescript puzzles for no reason. And I've got a lot more of them lined up, ready in order for the future.
What?
What?
I know where it is. I'm not telling.
We may live, we may die, as we hurtle through the sky. But if they blast us into space dust, then the DM can just replace us.
Our players are Lindsay Bates as Healer, Tyler C. Jiles as Dell, and Austyn Myers as Alabaster. Our Dungeon Master and lead writer is Sam Bedford, and our exceptional production team is made up of Cody Bray as Director and Jay Jolley as Producer. For the rest of the credits, please check out the description, and we extend a massive thank you to everyone who helped make this podcast possible. This has been a Typical Tower Gaming production, and for myself and the whole team, thank you.